Next noise we're going to tackle is semantic noise. Semantic noise, what is that? That's anything to do with the meaning of words, symbols, structure, general of communication. So, different meanings to the same words or phrases. Think about it. English is not just spoken in the US. A word can have a different meaning in the UK versus Australia versus South Africa versus India versus US, where English is spoken heavily. Or jargon, slang used. As an example we talked about earlier, there was an example already of semantic noise when your boss says, I need this done by next Monday. And today is Friday. How many days you have time? Your boss might think 3 days, you think 10 days. Miscommunication happened. Maybe you should rather write it this way. And it is done by 5/4/25 at 5 p.m. Is that perfect? Almost. What about if your audience is international and doesn't use the American way of writing dates? Then you should write maybe better 5 April 25 at 5 p.m. is 1700. That's the 5 p.m. written as example in other countries. Okay, depending on your audience, depending who receives this message, you can write it both. Write 5 p.m. parentheses 17.00. We need acceptable profit margin. Might be another thing your boss says. Acceptable, she thinks 20 to 30%, and you think, hey, acceptable, 10% is totally acceptable. It's good enough. So miscommunications like that happen, unfortunately, too often. Research shows about 7.5 hours per week per employee are lost due to miscommunication. And that costs a lot of money, around $12,000 lost annually per employee, because lost time and effort. Okay. Here are some examples of miscommunication of semantic noises. What do you call a traffic situation in which several roads meet a circle and you have to get off at a certain point? Do you call it traffic circle, roundabout, rotary? What do you call it? Different words for the same meaning. Other thing, what is your general term for the rubber sole shoes worn in gym class for athletic activities? Do you call it tennis shoes, sneakers, gym shoes? Different words. Semantic noise can happen, semantic barriers, okay? Or what words do you use to address a group of people, of 2 or more people? Are you saying you guys, y'all, just you? Can mean different things, and some meant in a negative way. If you are somewhere where your general consensus is to say y'all, and you hear somebody say you guys, but they're from the Northeast or any of these red highlighted states, they don't mean it in a negative way of guys versus girls or whatever. It's just the way things are said in that area. Other thing could be type of slang. If a student says or writes say less. Here's an example. A teacher received a message from a student and a response and wrote back, say less, thank you for your time. The professor didn't understand that message, but that's slang. New generational slang could be say less, say no more. You have to be aware of your audience, who you're speaking to. Maybe they don't understand the word, the meaning of those words, because it's slang used. Be also aware if you create an ad, as an example here, and you're trying to make the best ad for the supermarket giant, and you write hosting, plan a super spread. And you release this in March 2020, April 2020. What happened then? COVID infections were used as a super spreader. Super spread, the word was used to talk about COVID-19 that's spreading. So it might be not a good idea to use those words. That will be semantic noise. Think about the first iPod ever released. Let's say you're the marketing genius and you think you're going to write storage for 5 GB of MP3s. What does that mean? Is that good enough? Sounds perfect. If you're a technical person, you might be convinced this is the best ad ever. But Apple knows their customers. Apple knows their customers are not just tech-savvy people. They don't know. Not everybody knows what gigabytes are. What's an MP3, especially 20 years ago. How many MP3s can fit in 5 gigabytes? Maybe redo that and write 1,000 songs in your pocket. That's the actual wording that Apple used back then. 1,000 songs in your pocket. There was a new concept. People didn't even think about having 1,000 songs in their pocket. Apple told them, I think you need 1,000 songs in your pocket, which sounded insane because you had CDs was the mainly consumed music back then. Or if you use jargon, technical terms, like here, somebody uses terms as malignant regression, pathogenic reintrojection, psychic decompensation. I don't even know what these means, what they mean. So you gotta be aware of your audience. Maybe explain those terms in other words. Explain those terms in understandable English basic language. Don't use jargon. Same here thing as an example here. The McDonald's famous quarter-pound burger was dominating the market, and A&W tried to introduce a third-pound burger, which is a third-pound burger is heavier than a fourth-pound burger. They tried to introduce it for the exact same price. However, it flopped. Fortunately flopped, even though the research done and everything, unfortunately flopped because the quarter-pound is just a staple to order, staple to say, even though the third-pound burger was more meat for the money, better value. Unfortunately, that burger flopped. Next video, we're going to talk about the last barrier, psychological.